as of right now, E3 2017, the electronic triple is just 4 days away, and the hype is really building up. I gotta say, I'm really getting excited for this thing, starting to get the butterflies in my stomach. And with that being said, it is time for my E3 2017 wish list. Now, I did this last year. I talked about all the games I wanted to see at that year's E3. Unfortunately, none of those games came true. And I just released those videos randomly throughout the month. This year, I'm doing something a little bit different. This year, I'm using these videos as a sort of countdown until E3. Now, E3 itself doesn't officially start until the 13th, which is my birthday, by the way. Hype for that as well. It doesn't officially start until the 13th, but I count the 10th when all the press conferences start. That, to me, that's when E3 officially starts for all of us. So that's 4 days away. Expect 4 wishlist videos, 4 games that I'm going to be talking about and wanting at E3. Let's just get this started. You already know the first game on the list due to the cringy intro. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for that right now. I just had to do it. I had to do it. Come on, give me a break. Yeah, that's right. Jet Set Radio. I want a revival of this franchise, and I think that it is more possible than ever. In fact, I might be so bold to say that this is the most possible game to actually happen and be announced at E3 than any of the other games on my list. Maybe. I'm not going to spoil the other ones. Maybe. But yeah, I think this game is very, very possible. I mean, even Sega themselves, recently, during a shareholders meeting, they mentioned that they are going to be reviving their older IPs. And yeah, Jet Set Radio, that's one of their older IPs. And I just remember playing Jet Set Radio on the PS3, actually. I played the re-release, the HD version, and I just fell in love with it. I really did. Now, I've heard of this game before it was released on PlayStation. I even heard of it as a child, and I just never got a chance to play it because I didn't have a Sega Saturn. But, you know, obviously it came to PlayStation, and I got a chance to play it, and, I mean, it was love at first sight. It really was. Like, I just played through that game. I played the hell out of that game. Like, I just played hours and hours on end, collecting everything and just trying to get the highest score. And it was just fun. It was just so much fun, from just the overall aesthetic and design of the game to the soundtrack, the beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. And the gameplay itself as well was just super fun, hectic, and fast-paced. It was unlike anything of its time. And I think that it would work in today's context more than anything. I think it is time to see this game once again. I don't want this IP to die. It's so special to me in my heart. And it's special to a lot of people. I mean, there's some people that grew up playing this game as a kid on the Sega Saturn, and I can't even imagine how they feel. This game needs to happen, and I think Sega knows it. Just recently, on Kickstarter, there's a game there called Hover. I can't remember the developers of this. I'm going to put this in the description below so you guys can check it out. If you want to fund it, go ahead. The game looks really, really cool. Little shout out to the developers there, I guess. But yeah, the game looks really, really cool, and it's super inspired by Jet Set Radio. Like, it looks a lot like Jet Set Radio. Now, it isn't just like a rip-off of the game or anything like that. It is a definite inspiration from it, and you can definitely see the elements of it there. But it is an original game. And it looks awesome. Like, the game itself just looks really, really cool. It's first person, which I know probably threw a lot of people out there. It's first person, and it's like a free running skating game where you're like running from these cops and stuff. It looks so, so, so cool. The first person I didn't think I was going to like until I watched the trailer. Now, it is an early alpha, and it doesn't look perfect, obviously. But in the trailer itself, they even mentioned that it is Jet Set Radio inspired, and they even got the original composer from Jet Set Radio to do the music for Hover, and that itself makes me want to fund the game and buy it myself. Like, that's just awesome. That's just awesome. And even Nintendo's recent IP, Splatoon, is heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio. Now, they may not mention it, but if you've seen even a trailer of that game, yeah, if you squint your eyes, it's gonna look like Jet Set Radio. Like, it's just, from the overall aesthetic of the game to the soundtrack and even some of the gameplay, it feels a little frantic and fast-paced like Jet Set Radio would. And again, it just looks so much like Jet Set Radio. And Sunset Overdrive as well by Insomniac Games. That is another one that is just heavily Jet Set Radio inspired. So what I'm trying to say is, you have people wanting this game and basically making their own versions of this game. I think even developers will mention that, yeah, we want to see a Jet Set Radio happen, but it doesn't look like that's happening, so let's just make a game that's super inspired by Jet Set Radio and put our own little spin on it. Now, I think Sunset Overdrive, unfortunately I haven't played it yet, but what I've seen of it, it looks like the most fun out of all of these games. Again, Hover is a small indie title. It's developed by like 5 people, and it's still an alpha, so that might be unfair to judge, but Sunset Overdrive to me captured the elements of Jet Set Radio that I love so much, and that is just the wackiness. Now, I think they might have gone a little overboard with that title, but it's still really, really cool. It definitely looks really, really cool. So again, you have developers wanting to do this. You have Sega mentioning that they're bringing back IPs. I honestly think that this game has a strong possibility of being revived. I really do. And, I mean, what this game could even entail. Like, I mean, what can you even imagine a Jet Set Radio coming out today? What would the gameplay actually be like? And what console would it be for? Like, that's another question. I could easily see Nintendo scooping up Sega and saying, hey, can you make a Jet Set Radio Revival exclusive to Switch? And it would be really cool for the Switch. Having, like, oh, the vibration in the Joy-Con with the grinding and, you know, the wall riding and everything, and the spray paint too, like, feeling that in the Joy-Con would be super, super cool. And even having motion controls, would be also really, really cool. And I mean, I could also see Sony. I can honestly see Sony picking them up and saying, hey, make this game for the PlayStation. They would obviously be able to take advantage of the hardware there and make the game look super, super pretty and have like even more massive worlds. And another thing too, and I didn't even think of this until now, Microsoft, I mean, the Jet Set Radio Future, the sequel to Jet Set Radio, is exclusive for the OG Xbox. I'm not even able to play this game. I haven't played this game yet, and I've heard it's amazing too. So I could easily see Microsoft doing that and say, hey, do you want to make a new Jet Set Radio game for the Scorpio? Like, let's get it going and kind of continue that partnership that we had back in the day. I can easily see that happening too. Honestly, what I want is just to see it multi-platform and just see it for every single console. But I mean, I can imagine an exclusive for any of these consoles, and I think it would work just fine. Now, the gameplay itself, that's something else. I mean, something that I would like to see them do with the Jet Set Radio sequel is I want multiplayer. I want online multiplayer. I think you could do something really cool with that, with like trick attack or like races, time attack kind of thing. Maybe even like a spray paint mode where like whoever like tags the most things or something, or like a battle mode if they could do something like that, introduce combat somehow. I think that would also be really cool. The graphics of the game, you can improve vastly. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jet Set Radio still looks good today in my opinion, but I think a lot of people would disagree with me there. And what developers are doing today with modern cell shading, man, this game could look pretty. I mean, Borderlands. Look at Borderlands and how that game looks. Imagine that transitioning into a JSR game. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. And what I mentioned earlier, Sunset Overdrive, is a beautiful game, but it's not cel-shaded. It's like more of like a cartoony, kind of realistic looking graphic design, and I think that you can also implement that in Jet Set Radio and kind of make it a little more grounded, make the characters look a little more realistic. I don't think the hardcore fans would necessarily like that, but I'm down for change. I mean, any Jet Set Radio is Jet Set Radio to me. As long as it has the key essential elements there, I'm okay with it, and I think that having kind of more grounded graphics would kind of add more realism to it. Something that I really want to see in a Jet Set Radio game, though, the main thing I want to see in a revival is an expansion of the overall lore and the world itself and the characters. Like, I want to see more of what this world is about. Shibuya-cho and like all the different gangs and stuff. Like, I really, really like that. And even I have been inspired by that from some of the stuff that I do in writing. Like, I have been inspired by this type of world that they're developing, and I think a lot of people have as well. It's just so cool. What is Shibuya-cho? Like, what is that place? Like, that's just awesome. I absolutely love it, and I want to see more of that kind of stuff. Maybe even have it outside of Japan. Now, again, I haven't played Future. I don't know if they've already done this before, but like maybe have like a fictional New York kind of place, like a new New York or something, or Super New York or something, and have you spraying around there. Like, that would also be really, really cool. I mean, having just an expansive world like that, and even adding like platforming, like there's so much you can do with the Jet Set Radio revival, and it's just mind-boggling. Like, I have so many little ideas in my head that you can do with the overall world, and I think in today's modern context, you can make this game really, really special. And yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. I want to see this game happen at E3 2017. I think it is more of a possibility than it has ever been, to be honest. And yeah, do you think so? I mean, comment down below. Let me know what you think of a Jet Set Radio revival. Could you see it happening now that Sega has mentioned that they're wanting to bring back older IPs? And also, you know, all these other games that are heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio. Do you think that the fact that Hover exists, do you think that makes Sega a little reluctant to actually make this game? Like, oh, well, there's already Hover and Sunset Overdrive and Splatoon 2 as well. Maybe we don't even need to make this. I think those capture the elements that Jet Set Radio is, and it's kind of dead in the water. I hope not. Honestly, I think those games increase the value of a Jet Set Radio Revival. But again, comment below and let me know what you think. Hit that like button if you enjoyed anything that I had to talk about today. Subscribe. Please be sure to subscribe for more of my E3 2017 wish list and also other E3 content as well. Like I said before, it's just 4 days away. Expect reactions to each and every conference with my good friend Fuminsho. It is going to be an absolute blast. The hype is in the air. Again, a wish list video every day until E3. I also have another video planned. It's in my back pocket right now. I've been working on it. It's super, super special, so look forward to that as well. And make sure to subscribe and also hit that notification button. Yeah, you're going to want to know when these videos come out, my boy. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.